Welcome to MarketVibes.ai weekly update. Today we're going to look into what our portfolio looks like and what are the movements in the market, crypto, India, and US. First of all, nothing here is financial advice. This is me using this software to make my own decisions, and you have to do your own due diligence before you make any decisions. Okay, so first thing first, I want to show you what changed from the last week we posted the video. We basically have Ethereum turning bearish. We have Dow Jones and US small caps all turning bearish. So instead of like overthinking, I'm using the power of MarketVibes.ai to make a decisions of making a sell. So right now, our portfolio has everything sold off except Bitcoin, right? So BTCL, which is 2x ETF that we have, this is based on what Bitcoin is showing. So right now the score is 74. It's still showing bullish. So I haven't sold it, but everything else, now we go into the cash because I ended up selling uh, Ethereum, Dow Jones and US small cap all for small loss. The portfolio is showing around 8% loss. This is going to be a little bit more, and that's okay. And I'm going to explain you why that's okay. Um, so let's go through this. We got into Ethereum when, it was showing green in this area, right? Now, as I said, when we started posting these videos, I don't want to show you wrong information in the sense, hey, I invested exactly over here. It would look very nice because, you doubled your money and so forth, right? The goal of using this software is to dumb it down so much that we buy when it's green, we sell when it's red, right? And that's what we did. So we ended up buying somewhere over here, right? But then suddenly we had market volatility due to like war and things like that, and things fell. And it was like, okay, now this might be risky. So it turned red, right? There's a high possibility of this returning back. And it's okay. You're going to miss a few percents here and there. The goal is to beat the market in the long term, not in the short term. So do not chase the pennies. And I'll give you an example. We have a historical return simulator. You can click on this and you can clearly see if you invested, right now it's showing rupees because, this is like, I'm right now in India. So if you invest 1,000 rupees for 3 years, you basically will still make 6x money, right? And the reason that happens is because if we go back to Ethereum chart here, you can clearly see, right, in last 3 years, so that's around, this area, 2022 to 2025, you will get this kind of runs, right? And then a cool off, and then a cool off, then a little bit of gain here, and then a cool off, and then another run. You're going to keep doing this. This is almost a double or like 60, 70%, right? So you're going to compound when there's like a massive run and we found like a bottom, right? But when things like this happens, when it's like a consolidation and then a drop, you're going to also like, make a small loss. The idea is to minimize your losses and maximize your gains, right? And we are using a leverage, which basically means when we are going up, we are going to go up quite a bit. When it's going down, there is going to be a drop like this, and it will try to protect. Now, it's not going to bounce that easily unless, I mean, it's not going to turn immediately green unless there's a decent bounce here, right? Because the software is basically trying to like balance things out. It waited for a long time. So if you see here, this was green on April 10th. And this is the first red that came on. Uh, sorry, this is June 22nd, basically, right? So around 2.5 months, we were in the green zone, and now we turned red. As I mentioned earlier, uh, even in the high yield mode, crypto is a little bit volatile, so obviously you make a little bit more trades, but it's around 10 trades per year, right? So we are not going to be like over trading. However, because of the situation, these three things turned bearish, so we ended up selling. I also wanted to like give a quick overview of like, Nasdaq. So, I have a trading view chart here. We can also open up Nasdaq on, MarketVibes.ai. So here you can see, the tariff and all that complexity just basically dumped down the market. And then we found a bottom in the first week of April. and we bought in our around here, right? So like this is like, well, actually, we haven't bought the Nasdaq yet. What I'm trying to say is like, it's still green for like 2.5 months, right? So there's always a chance of some sort of cool off because it's been going up for 2 months consistently, right? And this might be choppy in the sense, might turn like a red for a couple of days and then green for a couple of days, or actually, has a decent downtrend and then it turns back up again. Because anytime you reach around the previous all-time high range, which is around this range, there's going to be some choppiness over here. You may consider there's a war going on, this and that, but it's more or less the market reaching the previous all-time high. That's like the ultimate truth. It normally takes a little time, or sometimes it actually smashes through and then comes back, right? In any case, anytime market vibes, it hasn't yet detected, some sort of like weakness in Nasdaq, and this is the reason Nasdaq and S&P 500 are still like in the bullish zone. However, small caps, is showing a little bit of weakness. As you can see, like it's a tiny red dot. It's the first that dot, and you can see it's basically like stabilizing, right? So what it's expecting is there's a chance this drops out, right? And the goal is not to maximize the gains. The goal is also to protect your money, and this is why it's turning red. It could have absolutely turned green and waited, but then like there's a chance that you lose money. So there are no guarantees in the market. Anytime market vibes detects a weakness, it's going to turn red, and then if it finds the bullishness again, it's just going to turn green. And this is how we are going to take decision. So today Ethereum actually quite recovered like 3%, or actually a little bit more. If we see like on the chart, on the daily time frame, right? So Ethereum over the weekend, after dropping quite a bit, recovered around 7 or 8%, right? So if I was taking like my personal decision, I might be biased, like, hey, this is showing red, but I'm not going to do it because it's bouncing off. But what if it doesn't? This is why you do not like mess with this, software, in the sense if it shows red, you just exit out. You wait for it to turn green, because eventually, as I said, in the long run, it's going to find you multiple opportunities of like going, like for example, this opportunity right here, right? It's from like around 1650 to what? More than a double, right? So in this one sort of November to March, like 4 months time frame, if we were on 2x ETF, you literally tripled your money, right? That's not a joke. That's a lot of like a percentage gains, and then you can actually, even if you make a little bit of loss here, you're again going to make money here, right? And this is what we are expecting. Eventually, this will settle and it will give us another like 3x, because we are on 2x ETF, right? That's a goal, but we have to be patient. And that's what I wanted to show you. I am literally following the software, in the sense when it turns green, I'll be buying. When it turns red, I'll be selling. Thank you so much. Please feel free to comment and give us feedback about anything you feel. Thank you.